fear lives in direct proportion to victimhood. The more you think it's someone else's fault on one side, the more you open yourself to fear on the other side, because they're actual opposites of a similar energy. Where insofar as you've decided that your accountability sits with somebody else, so it's someone else's fault that you had a tough childhood, or you had a tough time in business, or your business lost money and you had to change jobs, or you had to move and, married the wrong person and had to start over, whatever it's their fault story is, gives an energetic hole into which being found out for the fraud that you are becomes the agency through which fear is welcomed into every single day. I think fear and shame, ironically, live together. I think where you see fear, you also see shame. Because I think inside of both of them is the moving of an agency from I am responsible for the things in my life. I am the architect of my existence. And I better make good choices. I better make good decisions. I better relate in a beautiful way. I better do those things. That agency, when I take responsibility for it, closes down fear and closes down shame. And the minute I actually blame someone else for the experience I'm having, someone else for what happened to me, someone else for the behavior I need to actually say wasn't my fault, that is an agency through which I open up that shame space and the fear space, and I suddenly become incapable of being fully functioning.
And unfortunately, we're probably, as a society, losing that ability, not gaining that ability.
Right.
Okay.
But that's exactly the reason why conversations like this, I just did a 3-day expose in Central California over the weekend, where I actually talked about accusations that have been made of me over the last 4 years. It's actually quite comical. For the decades I was on CNBC and Bloomberg and on national news and mainstream media, I didn't get any of these attacks. But the minute COVID started and we were on alt media, keyboard warriors around the world tried to figure out who's the real David Martin. What's really motivating him? Well, ironically, same thing that motivated me when I was trying to end genocide in Papua New Guinea, or trying to bring justice in Rwanda, or trying to do the stuff I did to reintegrate businesses in South Africa, and the stuff I did to actually enable the country of Mongolia to stand on its own sovereignty. The same thing that's motivated me in my whole life continues to do what motivates me. So the great news is nothing about me has changed, but there are a number of people who, because I have not enriched myself on the back of COVID, I haven't built a branded product. I haven't built a branded anything. I actually show up on conversations like this, and I don't pitch and promote and anything. The only thing I have ever acknowledged when I do shows like this is a couple of the companies that, because of their belief in what I had to say, they had advanced and promoted what I did. So on occasion, I've talked about, for example, Cardio Miracle, which was the nitric oxide elixir that was used to keep a lot of people healthy during the pandemic and afterwards. And I mention them only because when it came time for the Utah case, where we needed support to file the case in the federal court in Utah, John Hewlett was so generous in saying, I'm going to be there and I'm going to help you. He actually stood alongside and helped with the filing of that case. And so there have been times when I've acknowledged those kinds of people and have suggested that it's wonderful to show gratitude for those. But because we didn't actually monetize our behavior, Kim and I were subject to unbelievable scrutiny, where people were trying to find what our motivation was. Who were we working for? And the possibility that maybe we were doing this because it was the right thing to do. Not right defined by someone somewhere else. Right defined by the two of us sitting around a kitchen table one night saying, and by the way, it was Kim that did this, said, the world needs to hear your voice. So we're going to go live and they're going to hear your voice. And Brian, half the population of the world later, it's worked. I've said it works, not because we had a huge marketing and promotion campaign, because we didn't. It works because we tried to do our best to represent not only what's true, but throughout the entirety of this program over the last 4 years, we've also tried to represent our humility as being human. We've tried to just be two people doing our level best to share an important message with as many people who are willing to hear it. And the fact of the matter is, the purity of that signal has been more effective than all of the other signals combined. So I know it sounds in this day and age like it's hard to do it. But I think one of the roles you've played, certainly I've seen this in your own life, and I know one of the roles I've played is to be a role model that says we can still stand. When everything else is falling, we can still stand. And yeah, do we get bumped and bruised along the way? Of course we do. But do we allow that to define our existence? Absolutely not, because the character of who we are stands against any of those attacks. And we're only stronger now than we were 4 years ago.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.